With the Fantastic Four First Steps box office metrics now officially at $257 million globally speaking, of course, those are global, worldwide numbers by the Walt Disney Company and Marvel Studios. It really is a big question open on the table for discussion right now, whether or not this is going to outperform Captain America Brave New World when it comes to its worldwide results. We'll have to wait and see. However, one major obstacle that Disney and Marvel are dealing with right now has a lot to do with the press tour, specifically with Pedro Pascal getting overly political and saying some of the most cringeworthy things out there that's really just sabotaging the entire process of promoting the film. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. Now, one thing about Pedro Pascal, and I've said this so many times before, but I'll say it again, is that he is insufferable. Now, as an actor, sure, he's got some talents there. He's got some hits and misses, that's for sure. We have to admit the truth there. There are some good movies and bad films featuring Pedro Pascal because of his acting capability. But when it comes to this movie, and I've expressed my feelings about this film, it's a popcorn flick. I don't think it's a masterpiece by any means. It's not a great movie. It's just a good, okay-ish movie. And he's really not fit for the role of Mr. Fantastic. That's how I felt. I really didn't feel he was Reed Richards. But let's get past all of that and focus on Pedro. Now, what's interesting here about Pedro is that he continues to get overly political in the middle of the press tour and the marketing campaign for this film, and it's only making matters worse down the road. However, with, of course, like I said, the box office metrics now at $257 million worldwide, it will be interesting come Monday or Tuesday when we get the official numbers for this weekend to see how much of a bump Fantastic Four is going to get at the numbers there. Now, with the Walt Disney Company desperately hoping that Fantastic Four will be a major box office hit when all is said and done, one obstacle that they are dealing with currently involves more to do with Pedro Pascal getting political in the middle of the Fantastic Four press tour for the upteenth time. Recently, Pedro delivered the following yet again in the middle of the Fantastic Four press tour, getting overly emotional and even tearing and crying and actually expressing that. He goes on to deliver, of course, "I have no problem that I am a proud male feminist and activist," he says, "that believes in my core values. But getting this opportunity to play Mr. Fantastic, let me just say I'm tearing up right now. Like I'm tearing up right now. And I will admit that I find myself crying many times, both out of tears of joy and tears of sadness with my anxiety. Because sometimes things can get overwhelming when you are coming from a place of diversity, and you are dealing with all the differing views that are going on right now in this country under President Trump, if you even want to call him a president. It really makes me sad witnessing what our country is turning into, and I'm choking up right now just thinking about it. Our freedom of speech and expression is dying. If anything, it's dead already. The art of cinema and film is also dying under President Donald Trump. Just look at what happened to PBS. This man is a dictator, and he will stop at nothing to get things done his way. And I think the only reason why we aren't seeing the exact numbers that we want to see right now with Fantastic Four is that MAGA is not seeing a film out of spite, because they have this vendetta against Hollywood, and it's just so juvenile, man. It's so childish, and this is the current state of this country that I find myself crying over all the time. It really does jack up my anxiety. I think MAGA folks are just so stubborn. They are the types of people that I don't want their business anyway to do with my films. I want no association with them. But the United States that I once loved is now gone, and it's been bringing me to tears. I can feel them now. But what I love so much about Marvel right now is that Kevin Feige is truly expanding characters straight from the comics, and trust me guys, there are going to be a lot of daddies in the next phase. I know I'm a daddy, and Dr. Doom is a daddy. I know Tony Stark was a daddy, but you will see more characters like those in the MCU. Now guys, let me just stop right there for a second. The fact that he's going off the rails about his anxiety, talking about his emotions, about how he's tearing up and crying about the current state of this country is abysmal behavior when it comes to the press tour for the Fantastic Four. The only advice that I could give to Pedro Pascal is to focus on the film strictly and only. Take the politics out of it. Take the cringeworthy stuff out of it, please. You know, the whole daddy nonsense is just really just giving a lot of people secondhand embarrassment, that's true. And the fact that he keeps going on about the daddy thing, that Dr. Doom is a daddy, Tony Stark's a daddy, he's a daddy, It's very odd behavior, and I've never seen anything like it before when it comes to a press tour. But what's interesting about this yet again is that he still is actually bringing up MAGA. What does MAGA have to do with the Fantastic Four? You know, this is the problem, that they always make things political. They always drag in Trump supporters into a press tour for a Marvel film, especially Pedro Pascal. I mean, he really is the epitome of someone that makes things political that really don't have to be. Rachel Zegler did this as well with Snow White. That's exactly why people are fed up with a lot of these actors. And as I said before, look, a lot of people do recognize and share my opinion that Pedro is a very insufferable person as a human being. The way that he actually expresses himself, you know, to the general public, people are just appalled about it. But what's interesting here, yet again, is he continues to allude further. But beyond film, what is most important to me right now is getting through these terrible 4 years to reshape our country that is in such a mess right now. And I know many actors that share the same emotions as I do, that it has left us all very sad and emotional. It needs to stop. This agenda under President Trump needs to just go away and vanish into thin air. His act on the border was another atrocity to this country, and the deportations are just embarrassing for many of us. I can only hope that we can save cinema from dying. But I just don't see that happening anytime soon now that Trump is a king and everything he wants, he gets. It's deeply upsetting, and looking back to the country I once knew 8 months ago, I tear up just thinking about it even right now. Again, the fact that they keep going on about cinema is dying, the art of cinema is dying, well, that's half true. I mean, you know, everything to do with wokeism and the forced DEI agenda into movies and television, yeah, that's dying, that's for sure. That's going away slowly but surely. It's going to take time. But the actual art of filmmaking is still very much strong and alive. There's a lot of, you know, opportunities just resting out there for a director or a writer to pick up. And there's a lot of, you know, opportunities that they can actually take advantage of now that DEI is being abolished by some studios out there. I don't want to say all, because there are a number of studios that are still latching on to that. There is indeed a resistance. Disney is a major example. Literally, Bob Iger and Kevin Feige came out announcing just like 2 weeks ago, even Kevin Feige especially, that yeah, they're doubling down on DEI. It's very important to them, and that's going to be the future. It's not going to go away from Marvel, at least. And we don't see that going away with Star Wars over at Lucasfilm either, regardless if Kathleen Kennedy stays or not. That's the current status of Disney. And they keep flip-flopping when it comes to their so-called agenda, or there's no agenda. Bob Iger just continues to lie. But again, the fact that Pedro Pascal is doubling down on the politics, he's doubling down on the cringeworthy daddy nonsense for the Fantastic Four press tour, this is exactly why some people are kind of waiting it out and just waiting for this movie to arrive on Disney+. And look, by all means, let me be very real with you guys. This movie is no Snow White, alright? It's not a terrible, terrible movie. It does have some misses here and there on casting decisions. It does have some plot points that could have been absolutely improved. And look, Pedro for me just doesn't work as Reed Richards, period, the end. And you don't even see all that many of his powers per se, the way that he should use them in this film. I'll leave it at that. But overall, I would like to hear what you all have to say about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.